Hello guys, this is rdowdy95 and welcome to my channel. The comic book that gonna display was published back in 1990. Ha! 1996. And it is from DC Vertigo. And it is Preacher issue number 11. Check out that cover. Nice, huh? I'll go put it here. Okay. This video is like a video response because I was tagged by the great legend. His name on YouTube is rdowdy. I believe so. I hope that I'm not misspelling or mispronouncing your name, buddy. And I want to say thank you for the tag. So the tagging is about the most what was the word? The most most memory that you have for the comic book. He used another word, another expression, but just right now it just popped out in my mind. But what I understood is there was that you have more memory about kind of why. So, well, to be honest with you, which I'm gonna be honest. Although I started reading comic books late in late 80s, but I wasn't collecting comic books at all. I buy one today, then one next 2 weeks or a month or whatever. But in 1991, the same year that I got, because in 1991 I got married. Yes, I got married in 1991. And although, well, you know, right now we got divorced 6 years ago. But that's besides the point. Back in 1991, I discovered, and I discovered it by chance. And I believe that I was hanging out with a couple of friends. I think it was, or was one of her was the husband of one of my ex-wife, back then, co-workers. She used to work on school, private school. Oh, I also have a son. I have a 10-year-old son. So I don't know how the conversation came out, or the topic came out, that he mentioned about, yes, that because him and someone else, they were talking about some newspaper article about some comic book. I'm not sure if they were talking about the death of Superman. I think. I don't quite remember what it was. But I know that I was talking to him, we were all talking, and he mentioned about a comic book shop. And I say, what? I mean, believe it or not, the first time I saw a comic book shop was when I was 26 years old. 26 or 27. Now, if there were comic books before that, I didn't know. Because I never liked to hang out at malls. So that's how I found out about a comic book shop, which is the same comic book shop that I go every single week on my comic book Wednesday. So I went to the store, and that was back in 1991. And when I got into the store, when I saw all those comic book displays, all those superheroes, different storylines, different characters that I didn't even know that they exist. Ooh, it's like being in Disneyland. Probably the same experience that some of you have when you went to the first time to a comic book shop when you were 8 or 10 or 12. I went when I was 26 and married. So it is kind of the same feeling. So and then I saw these. Then I started talking to the owner of the store, which happened to be the same lady as it is today. So we know each other for over 20 years, almost 20 years. No, about 20 years. And she opened the shop in 1989. Or 19 yes, in 1989 she opened the shop 2 years before that I did that somebody told me about that comic book shop. So and I started looking at the comic books, and then a specific comic book caught my eye. That was just the beginning. And that comic book was X-Men issue number 1. That one. That's a comic book that for me I have more memories about, or more memorable that I have of a specific comic book. Because that was, although besides the characters that they were cool, is where I discovered about the back and board. I mean, that comic book shop is when I realized about collecting comic books and the value. I mean, everything that we know nowadays, I found out in 1991 about the plastic bags, the back and board, the comic book box, about the Wizard magazine that's supposed to tell you the value of the comic back then. I mean, the 90s, it was crazy. It is. I mean, it was very crazy. But hey, it was fun also. It was fun. So a lot of good story came out of the 90s. A lot of good story. So that's when I discovered X-Men. And then after that, a year later, came out the story about the death of Superman. And then after that, maybe the same year, came out Nightfall. So I started with X-Men. From X-Men I moved to Superman. From Superman I moved to Batman. And then after Batman, well, came all the rest. Justice League, Green Lantern, Spider-Man, uh, all the Batman books, all the Superman books, and all the X-Men books like X-Men and Tiny X-Men, the first 5 issues of X-Force, which was drawn by Rob by Rob Liefeld. But to be honest with you, so X-Men number 1, that's my most memorable comic book, because I mean I have good memories about it. I got good memories about it. It was the beginning of one of my, because before that I have different hobbies. I was just before I got married. I traveled. I was living in France before I came back. No, at 17 I went to France to study. Came back 2 years later. A year later I went to Florida to live. Came back 4 years later. A year later, 2 years later, I got married. So I never had my mind about comic books. Yeah, I used to buy them. I when I used to go to the drugstore for something, or the supermarket, I would check the magazine rack. If I see a comic book that is good, then I buy it. And then I read it, and then toss it away, put it somewhere, which eventually I will I used to give them away till I find out about collecting. So so actually I came to discover what really about the hobby itself about comic books was in 1991, and all because somebody mentioned about comic book shop, which I'm happy that that person told me about it, told me about that comic book shop that I am going out nowadays, which is the name of the comic book shop is Necro Comics, simple name. So it's X-Men number one. That's the story, and I like X-Men number one because of the storytelling. Was real. I mean, because the X-Men back, I don't know nowadays because I don't read X-Men, but back then it used to be a little bit complicated, a little bit profound, a lot of philosophy in it. I mean, you have to sit down and read because it has a lot of story. On each page, it was crammed with a lot of reading. So to it would take you a lot of more time to read one issue of X-Men. I mean, what it took me to read one issue of X-Men back in the 90s will take me the same time to read 4 comic books nowadays. So because back then it has a lot of story content, at least on the X-Men. I don't know about the rest of them. But I have to say that is X-Men number one because I have no older comics. Like I said, I started reading comic books late in my life when I was 26 or 27. But I have to say that because I remember when I used to read comic books before that, to buy time, to time, I found the story back then to be not interesting for me. And I don't know why. It just I didn't find it appealing. But once I started reading X-Men, I saw that the attitude of the X-Men, I mean the attitude, the storytelling was more mature, more adult. Not in the case of not in the old standard work, but it wasn't. I don't know how to say. I mean, for me, I found it was uh, more mature reading. So again, like I said, I start reading late, collecting comic books. So that was 1991. Although I have some issues back from the 86, 87, but not that many. So that's the one. My most memorable comic book is X-Men number one from 1991 because that's the one that I saw the seriousness of the storytelling was X-Men. I know that maybe there's some issues after that. The same thing with Batman and Superman. They got crazy, stupid back then. It was like the 60s, but in the comic books was the 90s. It was the 90s with the 60s craziness, kind of. If that makes any sense. Excuse me. So that's it. So this is my video response to rdowdy, the great legend, coming at you live. So before I finish this video, I'm gonna tag uh, a friend of mine right here on YouTube, and his name is Sleepy Reader 666. And who else? Sleepy Reader 666, and the other person is what's his name? Da Costa Comics. So Da Costa Comics and Sleeper Reader 666, you have been tagged by me. So that way you can tell us your most memorable comic book. Well guys, just a said, I hope that you like the video. Till next time. Bye.